Owner of the 650,000 capacity Dangote Refinery and Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has been involved in a back and forth with local petroleum marketers over pricing and purchase of his products. The billionaire businessman accused the marketers of refusing to patronize him, despite the potential benefits of economies of scale accruing to all parties from such a deal. A former member of the House of Representatives, Mikko, joins us now to discuss the controversy over petrol pricing and how local refineries could help to ensure price and supply stability. Good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Nigerians.
Okay, so let's go straight into it. I mean, we've seen the debacle that has happened over the past couple of weeks following the launch of the Dangote Refinery. But a lot of Nigerians are looking at the role of local refineries in price stabilization. Many Nigerians see these local refineries as a pathway to stabilizing the petrol prices and ensuring consistent supply. In your view, how realistic can local refineries like Dangote contribute to achieving a price stability, given the volatility of the global oil market?
Well, thank you very much for having me. In the first place, if a commodity is scarce, it means that it's not available. And the few that is available, people will be rushing after it. You know, in the last administration, 25 licenses were given for modular refineries. I think as of today, we can say that only 5 are operational. And before then, during the Obasanjo administration, you know, the Port Harcourt refinery was concessioned to the same Dangote. And of course, the Teamsters, the local unions, kicked against it, and the thing was reversed by the Yar'Adua administration. Now they are complaining of the price. If they want to crash the price of the products from Dangote Refinery, I think the best thing to do is to make sure that the 4 other refineries, government refineries, come on stream, and they can sell at any price they want to sell, because the NNPC that owns the refineries also owns the crude. So I'm surprised. I'm not holding brief for any of the parties, other marketers or Dangote. But from an ordinary point of view, you know, I think that the best way to crash the prices is to allow the refineries or to make them operational. You know, the Port Harcourt refinery was the first place I got a job. I worked as I finished secondary school in 1978. Unfortunately, I didn't work there for long before I left for further studies overseas. So I'm pained to see such a monumental investment by government. My uncles worked there. You know, that refinery was commissioned in 1965 with the total investment, initial investment of £12 million by Shell Petroleum Development Company Limited. I'm from Ogoni, and that is where I pass everyday hope. So for us to be witnessing the kind of back and forth accusations we are seeing today is very unfortunate. I think government should step in and do something.
Well said. We certainly hear you on that. Now, based on your analysis and the realities that we're confronted with, some of which you've already outlined, do you think the government should consider renationalizing privatized refineries, or is the private sector better suited to drive reforms?
The government has no business in business. You already know that. This is a refinery. The Port Harcourt refinery was built was commissioned in 1965, as I told you. Then followed by the Warri refinery, which was also commissioned in 1978. You know, at the total cost of 478 million. You know, after that, the Kaduna refinery, you know, about $525 million. Then the second refinery, Port Harcourt refinery, with an installed capacity of 150 million barrels per day. And that one cost the taxpayers $850 million. Since then, you know, since 1990s, you know, the refineries have been on decline. None of them have met the total production output for which it was designed for. And just recently in 2018, the then Minister of Petroleum, who was also the president of the country, approved a total sum of 2 billion for another refinery in Katsina State for pipelines to be piped from Niger Republic. All these things, we don't know where they are from. I don't know why government cannot do government business and forget about private businesses where they are incompetent. It shows, and of course you've been listening to ministers of petroleum saying that technical completion, mechanical completion, all sorts of things, electrical completion. Nigerians are tired of the rhetorics of politicians and civil servants. We just want to see these products available to Nigerians. So I don't see any reason why anybody should blame Dangote for selling the product the way he wants to sell. If they want to crash the prices, you know, look at when MTN first come on board. When the other service providers, the price is crashed. I remember buying an MTN SIM card alone for 20,000. You know. So I don't see any reason why. I think they should allow the private investors, you know, private businessmen to come into these things, and they should sell off the refineries. Let us continue to have our petroleum products. That is my opinion on that.
I hear you, sir, and I just want to know what you think about some that have expressed concerns that Dangote's refinery could become monopolistic in Nigeria's oil sector, possibly influencing oil prices. What are your thoughts on balancing this support for Dangote's investments with ensuring healthy competition to protect the customers? And when we look at pricing and regulatory challenges, how much of the petrol pricing issue is actually, you know, driven by these regulatory factors versus market forces? Would better regulation or even deregulation make it easier for these local refineries to thrive and be able to stabilize their prices? So let's touch on those two things very quickly. Being able to look at the, you know, the Dangote's monopolistic tendencies, as well as regulating those prices.
I think these words are contradictory. You are talking of deregulation, and at the same time, we are talking of regulation. You know, anybody who feels that Dangote is going to be a monopoly in the sector should go and get investors and build his own refinery and forget about Dangote. Because in 2007, the Obasanjo administration concessioned the Port Harcourt oil refinery to Dangote. I think he paid an initial amount of over 300 million or so. And the Teamsters, the local unions, the trade unions kicked against it. And of course, it was reversed due to pressure by the Yar'Adua administration. Now the man has gone to build his own. And they are saying that he is the only person in the sector. Why don't they go and get investors, come together, and build their refineries? Even if it is a modern refinery that can take 1,000 or 2,000 or even up to 5,000 barrels a day, so that we get out of this mess, than to keep complaining and whining about the success of an individual that has the opportunity, you know, to have built this in elsewhere in the world, but coming home to build. And of course, you know, the triple, the chain effects of building this refinery at home. The pressure on the Naira, the creation of jobs, and so many other things. You know, all these landing costs we see in their bills when they import, all these things should have disappeared. But we don't even know why they are still complaining. I don't know those that are doing these complaints. Maybe they are just middlemen that feel that they should have been allowed, you know, to trade in connections rather than in products.
All right. Experts are contending that this chaotic fuel pricing regime with frequent unannounced changes has bred public distrust and uncertainty. Do you believe the current market-based pricing model is simply a smokescreen for unchecked profiteering by cartels and politically connected actors in the downstream sector?
Of course, you know that the NNPC have been described as the most opaque organization in the whole world. I have been in this sector, you know, before going into politics. I was in Marine Haulage, and even at the terminals, you don't have meters to ascertain the actual amount of crude that is loaded from this country in Bonny. And that affects my people directly. Because if you want to begin to calibrate how much money that is paid to host communities, royalties and all that, you cannot do so. And that will put pressure on the communities to revolt in no due time. Because they want to know, they want to participate in their God-given resources. So I am not interested in anybody complaining about pricing or no pricing. We want this product to be available. When government was providing subsidies, they said they were cutting away these things. They were smuggling across the border. When we have customs, I think the agencies responsible for some of these things have failed, and they should admit, rather than transferring the blame to people who are actively participating in the sector, as patriotic Nigerians.
Okay, but let's talk about the prospects for, because you've mentioned it, anybody that is complaining about the current pricing or what is currently going on should be able to do their own investment. So let's talk about the prospects for additional private refineries, considering the challenges that are facing us right now, talking about the challenges facing both public and private refineries. Do you believe that Nigeria has the right framework in place to encourage the growth of additional refineries, be it public, be it private? What impact, could advancing these policies or even competition have on fuel pricing and stability?
I think there's a human factor, because if you look at the number of years between 1965, when the first refinery was built in Alesa-Eleme, and the second one, and also the one in Warri and the one in Kaduna, is less than 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And of course, look at what Dangote has done. It shows that the private sector can come in and do investment, and it will go. But I think the bureaucracy, the political will to stop the cartel that has hampered the stunted growth of development in our country, I think that is the major thing. You can see the same in the power sector, where every day we hear of the collapse of the national grid. I think they are the same people. Yes, they are the same people. So let us move above excessive government regulation and open up the sector for people to participate so that the economy can grow.
All right, marketers are asking for more licenses to import petrol. You think this is the best way to compete in this sector?
Marketers are asking for more licenses to import petrol. When we have Dangote Refinery, look at the capacity of the 650,000 barrels a day. The combined capacity of all the 4 refineries in Nigeria is 445,000 barrels, from the Port Harcourt Refinery to the Kaduna Refinery, and none of them are working. Why are they not worried about the collapse of these refineries? Why are they worried about importing petrol every time? Why are they not worried about making our electrical sector work than importing generators into our country? For how long are we going to continue importation? That will put pressure on the dollar. Of course, it will take away the jobs from our young people. Like I told you, the refinery in the Port Harcourt was the first place I worked, as a young man leaving secondary school. So by the time we begin to patronize people outside the country, you see, you cannot continue. You can't grow an economy by consumption. You grow an economy by production. We have crude oil, and we cannot produce the byproducts from crude oil. It's a shame for us as a nation. We have engineers, we have businessmen, and marketers. They just want to bring in cheap petrol and sell. Why don't they go and produce their own cheaper in Nigeria and sell, than to begin to complain of somebody who has tried to do something right in our country?
All right, then. Thank you so much. We have been able to listen to the points that you've made thus far, and we'll continue to monitor this story. I appreciate your time and analysis today on Newsday.